Hi students, welcome back to Art with Miss Looney. Today I'm going to show you how we are going to make those icons based on our future goals that we have been talking about, okay? Our project is related to Virginia artist Ryan McGinnis and his simplified icons that we are connecting to our own future goals. Right here I have a list of some of my future goals. One is being an art teacher, 2 is being a makeup artist, and 3 is own a lot of cats. So what you're going to do today is you are going to select your top 3 out of your 4 future goals that we've been talking about and sketching in our sketchbook, and we're going to draw them on this draft paper to simplify them so we're ready to start our printing. So step 1 is you are going to be looking at those future goals in your sketchbook. I just wrote mine down so I know what I'm going to be drawing for you guys. Everyone will be getting one of these pieces of newsprint. As you'll notice, it's pretty thin, okay? It is kind of like the same paper they use for newspaper, all right? But it's really great draft paper. So the only thing I want to let you know is be very gentle with it because it can rip pretty easily, okay? So what you're going to do with this is fold it like a book, match those corners up. What's really great about this piece of paper is it's the same size as the foam that we're going to be using for printing, okay? Step 1 is go ahead and put your name on there and your class code, okay? Just in case this gets lost, we know who it belongs to. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up. You're gonna put your idea number 1, number 2, and number 3. So now I am organized. The first one is an art teacher. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to think about and look in my sketchbook at those symbols that represent being an art teacher. So for art, I can do a paintbrush and a paint palette. For teacher, I can do an apple. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch that out on here for you. All right, and then for art teacher, we use paint palettes, so maybe I'll overlap my paint palette over my apple, erase that, and then maybe I'll throw in a paintbrush in there. Okay, so there's my symbol for art teacher. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to number 2, a makeup artist. Okay, so maybe I'll do an eyeshadow palette with like a mirror or something, and maybe a makeup brush. I'm taking my time, I'm sketching so my lines aren't super perfect. So I'll go back in and erase all the lines that I don't want to use. So when you erase, hold your paper to kind of like stretch it out a little bit. That way it doesn't get caught when you erase and then crinkle and crumble up. Okay? All right, makeup artist, and then own a lot of cats. I'm gonna draw myself in the future really old with a bun on my head.
Looking up. What's going on up there? Who's gonna be up there?
One cat. Let's do another one here. Peeking out. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I just crack myself up. And maybe there's another one here. Holding on to this guy. All right, so I'm gonna go in and erase all those lines I don't need. Okay, when you have all these, show it to me and I'll let you know if you're ready to move on. Thanks, guys. Hey students, welcome back to Art with Miss Looney. What you're going to be doing today is starting your printing plates based on your future goals for our printing project. Okay, so we've been talking about Ryan McGinnis and creating icons to represent a bigger idea that are simplified and quick to the point, okay? So last class you guys went ahead and sketched out your future goal ideas. You have 3 that you're going to be making into printing plates. Okay, so by the end of today, you should have 3 printing plates, one for each of your future goals. Okay, so I have a wet paper towel, a Sharpie, a marker, a pen, and a pencil. All right. The first thing that you are going to do is look at your future goals, make sure all the lines are erased that you don't need so you know what you are creating today. I'm going to take a Sharpie. I'm going to write my name and my class code. Okay? Flip it over to the other side. So now I have an empty foam plate. You're going to start with your first idea, then your second, and then your third. You're going to be using a marker, and you're going to be drawing what you sketched on here. I could draw it a little bit bigger on here this time. What was really cool is that these tests, our draft paper is the same size as our printing plate. That way we're ready to go ahead and draw big. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my art teacher goal. My drawing might change just a little bit, and that's fine. Remember that when you are using your marker, don't press too hard. We're just drawing really lightly on here. Then you can use the wet paper towel to kind of erase those lines you don't want. And I'm going to draw my paintbrush a lot bigger. You just want to lightly draw. You don't want to press down too hard, because if you press down, it's going to leave a mark. And our goal is to not leave any marks. But if you do, it's okay. It will print out fine. Go in and erase those lines I don't want. So now that I have my future goal on here, I'm done with my marker, I'm done with the Sharpie, done with the wet paper towel. I have a dull pencil and a pen. Depending on what we have available, you might be able to use a pen today, but a dull pencil works just fine. The reason for using the pen is so we can make a printing plate, okay? So we're gonna be pressing on all of our marker lines. We're gonna be pushing down, kind of like a stamp, okay? So I'm gonna take my pen, I'm going to follow along right on top of my marker. You don't wanna push too hard to where you're poking a hole. Okay, you can check by rubbing your finger on it how deep it is. You might wanna go over everything in pen a second time. Don't wanna press too hard. If you press lightly and just trace over it, it will be fine. Because we want it to be deep enough to where that ink won't go into it. Because if it's not deep enough, then our ink will go into the lines and then your image may not show up the best that it can. You're gonna be getting marker all over your hands, so if you see any smudges, it's fine, we'll wipe it off later. I really, really want you to take your time, so I don't need to give you another one. This foam is pretty thin anyway, so just be really careful when you're tracing over. All right, so now there's my plate. I'm gonna go in with the wet paper towel and wipe away all my markers so I can see what it looks like. And then I will use the rest of my time to make sure I'm going back over some things. So you guys are going to be making your 3 plates today, the best that you can. Please do not use letters or numbers, because when we print it, it will print backwards, so stay away from letters and numbers. Maybe ask people at your table what symbols they think you should use to kind of represent that bigger idea of a future goal, okay? So there's 1. I would be making 2 more in order to finish. All right, take your time, check how deep your pen is going. Mine, this is great. And then what we're gonna do next time is we're gonna cut out our foam, and then we are going to start printing. Now that I'm done with my pen on my foam plate, what you're going to do is cut it out, and this is if you finish early. and we're gonna need to do this anyways. You wanna cut it out, but leave kind of like a border around. Do not cut on your pen lines. Okay, I'm just leaving a good amount of area around my future goal symbol, my icon. So you're gonna do this to all 3 of yours, okay? I left a good border all the way around. My name and class code is still in there. If you cut off your name and class code, just make sure you rewrite it before we start printing next time. All right, guys, thanks so much. Good luck. Have fun.